Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is your neighborhood friendly Oxhorn, and here we are at Spectacle Island for a barn building tutorial. As you can see, I've been hard at work on this island. I'm getting ready to shoot an efficiency settlement build video, and I've been getting a lot of questions from many of the viewers asking for a tutorial on how to use the new barn tiles that came with Far Harbor. The barn tiles are my favorite set of tiles. They're very versatile, so let me show you a few things. Let's start by making a cabin. I'm going to talk about the pieces that I'm using while I'm making it, and please stick around because I will be going through every single piece in the barn tile set, explaining how to use them and what they're for. But let's start by making a simple square cabin. We're going to be using this floor piece right here, which comes with a cement foundation, and we're going to make it high enough to cover any of the grass so that grass doesn't stick out through the bottom. We're making it 3 tiles long and 2 tiles wide because we want to use the opportunity to make a porch. Let's go to walls. So, the first few walls in this set are fairly self-explanatory. One of the nice things about the new barn tiles is that they're much taller than the regular house tiles. So let's go ahead and put down one barn tile, and then let me put down a regular shack wall just so that you can see the difference between the two. Look how much taller the barn tiles are. This allows you to make very tall structures that can accommodate taller paintings and posters on the inside or whatever. So I really love the new tiles for that reason. But the first few wall tiles that you find in the barn's texture set are fairly similar. We've got a solid wall, we've got a wall with holes in it, another one with holes, and yet another one with holes. These are tiles that I never use. And then here's the door. Now, we want to put the door right here, but you see how it's not snapping? What we're wanting to do is we're wanting this outlip right here to be the porch, and everything over here will be the inside of the cabin. Now, to do that, we need the wall to go right here, but it's not snapping. And if you were to put it down, well, then you'd kind of have to finagle it and move it, and, you know, it just wouldn't fit right. So I'll show you a trick on how to get that to snap, but let's finish the wall. So here's a door with some holes in it, and then here are the windows. There are 2 windows I like to use. This one, I'm going to put it at the back of the house so that the settlers can peer out and see the water. I don't use this one because it's got holes, and then this one. I like to put this one right there, but since it's not snapping, we'll do it a little bit later. So those are the 2 windows I like to use. The other ones are all broken, and by the way, we will be talking about these smaller, thinner pieces and how to use them in just a minute. But let's finish building this cabin first. So let's finish out the floor. I mean the solid walls. There. So now you see that all of the walls, with the exception of the front, have the wall tiles. Once that is done, you can now snap to it. That's right, you can snap, but you do have to have a wall on the other side. And the reason for that is because these new barn tiles are much more flexible when it comes to snapping points. You can snap them directly side by side or to the ledge or to the edge of it and move it around that way. They're just much more forgiving. All right, now that we have an outline of our cabin, we can build the deck. So let's go on over to miscellaneous. And let's find some of these balcony railings. Now, they don't normally snap in the game, but I have a mod installed that makes these snap, which makes it so much easier to use. I don't know why the base game doesn't make them snap. And I link to that mod in the description of this video. But the reason I'm doing this now is because this gives us an opportunity to talk about the stairs. And there are 2 different stairs, one small one, which is this one, and one tall one, which is one that I did not use. Now, you see when you use the small one, it sometimes hovers like this. So this is a good opportunity to use the large one instead of the small one because you don't want it hovering. Settlers won't use it, and it just looks bad. Now, the nice thing about using the long one is it does go into the ground, so you don't have to worry about it sticking out too far. Okay, let's talk a little bit about roofs. So, you may be tempted at this moment to go into the roof section and browse through all of the roof tiles. But that's actually added effort. So instead, we're going to go to the prefabs section, And this section comes with a bunch of prefabricated stuff. If all you want is a simple little barn, then you can do that. But the reason I go there is because this section comes with a roof tile that also has a wall on it. So the reason this is important is because you would have to place this separately if you didn't use the prefab. So for example, let's go into the roofs, and there are all of these wonderful roofs. For single wide buildings, you could use something like this. But of course that wouldn't work because now we've got an opening right there. And then for buildings like the one we're trying to do right now, the obvious option would be something like this. But now you've got this big opening in the front. Now Bethesda does give you a tile to manually put this in. So go to walls and then find this triangular piece and you can put that there. However, that's a completely extra step. It's great if you want to mix and match different types of roofing tiles, but if you just want a simple solution, go to the prefab section, grab that triangular roof, and it comes with the wall attached. Now turn it around for this section, for this side, and then grab the one right next to it and turn it around for this side. Bingo, you've got yourself a nice little cabin using the barn textures that come with Far Harbor. Now, there are also some really cool barn doors right here. There are 2 barn doors, one that opens outward with the doorknob on the left-hand side, and then another one with the doorknob on the right-hand side that opens inward. Actually, I take that back. They only open inward and outward based on how you place them. So if a door opens in the wrong direction, simply go back into your workshop, select it, and turn around. And now it'll open the way that you want it to. So there you go. So that's how you do the barn doors. All right, now let's try to use some of the more complex and less intuitive pieces in the barn set. And let's do that by creating an actual barn. So let's make it 4 tiles wide. 3, 4. Looks like I'm not going to be able to fit that. So let's hold E, and that selects all of them. Push it up. There. 4 wide and 4 long. Now that's going to make a perfect square. We don't want that. Let's make it a slight rectangle. There we go. Okay, we have our foundation. Fantastic. Let's build up the walls really quickly. I'm not going to get too fancy here because we've already done walls. Let's just get something down. By the way, there is a prefab for corners if you want to save time. Just go to prefabs, wall corner, wall corner. And let's take this opportunity to show you how to actually create a barn door. So to create a large barn door, go to your barn walls and then find the 2 thin pieces with the large arch on top. So take the one that goes to the right, place it there, grab the one right next to it, and place it there, and then you'll find that the next barn wall tile will snap right in there. So we've got an opening for the barn door, and to get that to work, just go to your barn tile set, go all the way over to doors, and you're going to find your barn doors, the left and the right door. There's the right door, and there's the left door. You can use either these solid ones or the dilapidated ones with the holes in it. So there you go. That's how you create the barn doors and get it to work. But right now, let's take a look at the roof. There are a number of ways to do roofs. And I'm going to go through a couple of possibilities with you right now. So let's take a look at this piece right here. This is an interesting piece, and I don't see it used very often in many barn builds, but let me show you how it works. So what this piece does is it gives the illusion of height to a structure, and it allows you to have more complex roofs. So let's put one of these on each of the 4 corners. Now you can do a number of things from here. You can fill it up from there, like this. And what we'll do is we can either make a flat roof or a slanted roof. I like making slanted roofs. And for large structures like this, you see how this particular tile has a cross beam? You want to go ahead and use that because large structures need support on the inside or the roof would collapse in real life, of course, not in the game. So while you could use some like these that don't have the supports, to make it more realistic, use the ones that do have the supports for a lot of interior large roofs. Okay, now we need to connect them. Now, it wouldn't make sense to put this right there because it would run right into those arched roofs over there. So let's find one that doesn't have the supports. Place it there. We go to the other side. Place it there. And then let's fill it in with, say, a flat roof. This one has supports, and so we'll put that there. That matches. That matches, and then this one does not have supports. Oh, but we still need to match that. Great. So, let's see what the final product is. The final product is a flat roof top that slants down into 4 different directions. So that's completely different from something over here, for example, that has one single slide, or from our cabin, which just goes to a point and then comes back down. This is sloped at each side without a flat wall over there. And this is useful if you want to do something like have some of these roofing tiles on top. They only snap to flat parts of the roofs, and it looks like you can't put them side by side. Oh, there you go. All right. Not perfect, but that's what that's for. So you can use that to either cover a hole or put it on your flat roof. So that's how you use these corner pieces, but let's use our same barn to create something a little bit more dramatic. Head on over into your prefabs and you're going to see some really interesting pieces like these. You see how it's got a slanted roof tile and then it goes up with a wall. And here's an even taller one. That's a super tall wall. That's kind of a thin wall. And the nice thing about this is it's giving you a preview of how to use these pieces yourself. So let's put down a prefab. And then let's try to recreate it without using the prefab, just so that we understand how these things go. So go to roofs. And let's find just a slanted roof. Like this. Set that down. And then you can go to your wall section and put any kind of wall you want next to it. There you go. Took a little bit of finagling, but there you go. That's how you use it. So you can build up that way. So let me flesh this out before moving on to the next step. There, so we've got the sides done, but now we need to manually fix the front and back. And let me move over to the other side of the building so that I'm not staring at the sun. So to fix this and to flesh it out more, let's go to the walls section. And there's these pieces, which we talked about earlier. You can go in there. Now, how are we going to make this stack? Well, this is where the thin pieces come in. So let's go find the thin pieces. See if we can find one without a window. Is there one without a window? Yes. No, that's not it. Yes, there we go. One without a window. Stack that there. Stack that there. Then go get a regular wall. And there you go. That fills up the side. Let's go ahead and do that on the reverse side. And now for the roof. Let's go get our prefab that we love so well. And then our angled roof with the support. Great, now let's check it out and see how this looks from the inside. From the outside, it looks pretty doggone good, like a barn should. And then from the inside, we have this nice vaulted section. So, what do we do with this huge vaulted section? Well, they gave us some great tiles that we can use to make a sort of loft up here. Now, there are a number of ways to do that. Let's go to floors. Here are some wire floors that are kind of transparent. You could certainly use those, or you could use the solid floors. There are definitely more options when it comes to these loft floors. So I'm going to use one of those. Now you could do something like set that there, and then get one of your stairs, probably the long one. And the nice thing about these stairs is they do snap to each other. So you can snap stairway to stairway, and you can have this huge stair going down right in the middle of your barn, and then you can come up here, and there you go in your loft. But I think that that takes up a lot of space, so what I like to do is instead push these over to the side like this, then go get my stair, get my other stair, snap it, and then that gives me that puts this stairway along the wall and saving a lot of the internal space. Then just go to your floor tiles and let's finish this area. Then if you don't want this big gaping hole here, go ahead and get the 2x2 floor tiles. And then there's that one to fill it out. Now if you do put that down, make sure that you can actually go through it, because sometimes you may think that by putting one right there, you could still go down, but you actually bonk heads. So now we have this nice loft inside this barn. That's how you can put that together. Now, if you've watched some of my settlements, you know that when I do this, I put some railing down here. Now, I'll show you where to get that. That actually came with the concrete set that came with Wasteland Workshop. So let's go to the concrete set, go all the way to miscellaneous, and you have all of these nice railing pieces. The one that works with this is this railing right here. It matches the look of the barn stairs, and you can put a railing around the outside. And there you have it. That's how you can make a barn with working barn door and a loft. Now there are some things that I haven't quite figured out yet. Maybe you guys can help me in the description of this video, in the comments of this video. Here's one, the roof rafter. It looks a whole lot like one of these flat roofs here. Like that. It looks identical to that, only it doesn't have the roof. And I'm trying to figure out what to use it for. I thought maybe I could set it down like a floor here and it could snap to the walls and... Oh, there we go. Okay, well I couldn't get it to snap earlier. So that's what it's for. It's used as a replacement floor, but it's got big holes in it so that you can fall through. Like that. So I'm not sure what that's going to be useful for. I would much prefer to use these sort of iron tiles instead of these. But if you want to have big holes, you certainly can. You can use the rafter tile for that. Now this barn that you and I just built together is a different kind of barn. You can see that this whole side of the structure is flat. But Bethesda has given us tiles for a variety of different barn types, including some that have roofs spanning all the way around. So let's rebuild this barn so that the roof goes all the way around in a 360 sort of fashion. There, now that we've changed the way our barn looks so that it's got a roof that goes all the way around it, we have the opportunity to use some of the different items that came with this. Like this interesting thing. So this is technically called a roof, and you can see that it's got this weird crazy point thing on the end, and that's because it's designed to be used like this. There. It's designed to be used as a platform to go on top of roofs. And it really only works kind of like this if you've got one of these corner roofs, and then it comes with some other ones like this, which can snap to it. So in this way, you can build a cool little platform that snakes all the way around your roof if you want to maybe place some missile turrets, some machine gun turrets, or even if you want to put some decorations like crates and so on. There you go. A nice little barn platform for your barn. This is what it looks like. And it's pretty cool. Maybe you could have some guard stations up there, and you could have your guards kind of patrol the roof. Or maybe you just use it for bales of hay. I know you don't have access to bales of hay. Just thinking out loud. These act almost identically to the full ones that we placed down here. They just have a different look to them. So if instead of a completely solid wall, if you want it to be slightly transparent, you can put one of these down for a different effect. But as you can see, it works almost the exact same way. If you head over to the miscellaneous section of your barn builder, you see these couple of things, and they're very much like the other roof section, only they don't come with a platform. They're designed to go on triangular or angled roofs. So let's go on up here, and look at that. It just snaps right to the top. I use them pretty frequently in my builds. You can see one on the tower over there, and one over there on that little building over there, and they just add a nice little touch. All right, let's go through some of the different roof tiles so that you can see what each of these are used for. So we've already talked about these simple slanted roofs, and we talked about this corner piece and how to use that. Let's talk about these flat pieces. These are really simple. They're just flat pieces. They can cap the top of any square structure. But let's talk about some more complex ones. Here's this one. Does the exact same thing, only it adds a point to the top so that rain can drip down. Useful. Then, let's talk about this one. This is kind of like a prefab. It's really only useful if you're planning on making an extremely small structure. It comes with this nice faceplate there so that it's not open to the elements, and then it's got the exact same thing on the back side. Now, I suppose you could daisy chain these together with a really long structure, but that would only work if it's extremely long, but not very wide, because then, of course, you would have these faceplates in the middle of your structure. So, very few instances where that one would be useful. For example, let's remove that and replace it with this one. Now, that has a faceplate on that side, but it doesn't have a faceplate on this side. This side is open to the elements, and so you can see that this is designed for a much larger structure that's probably going to go this way in length, and then capped on that end with an exact duplicate piece like that, or they're going to be daisy-chained side by side, and you're going to go up and down, and have a sort of zigzag roof that way, which I don't think would look very good, but you do have the pieces to do that if you want. Now let's take a look at some of these other pieces here. This one is an interesting piece. Let's take a look at it. It comes to a corner over here, but then it goes out that way, and it goes out that way. That means that this piece is designed for L-shaped structures. So let's basically build it according to what we see. And we're going to be real simple. Let's just make it a simple L. Put down a foundation for this side of the L, put down a foundation for that side of the L, and then we'll simply build up the walls. And then we can use the cap piece that we saw earlier to cap this off. You can see that one side is open to the elements and one side has the faceplate there. That's perfect for that. And there we go. We have a simple L-shaped building using that particular roof tile. That's what that's for. This could be useful for a shed, a small shed, or a very small barn, or maybe some sort of utility room. Now this piece is exactly the same, only the termination point is different. So you see that we placed this piece down, and it has sort of this angular corner piece like we put over there at the beginning of this video, so that there's a line that comes up and then it goes off towards the L. Well, if you don't want that and you just want it to be completely side by side, there's this piece, which does things a little bit differently, so it's a little bit more complex. It has a faceplate on that end where the roof terminates. So this roof goes all the way to the end and terminates flat instead of tapering off to a point like the other one does. But then it also comes out this way for another piece that terminates flat. So it accomplishes the exact same thing of the last tile, only it has a different aesthetic. Now this unique piece is designed for being in the middle of a structure, and you can do it one of two ways. You can put it in the middle of a structure that has a whole bunch of these snapped all together, or you could put it in the middle of a structure that stretches out like a T. Let me show you what this looks like on one of my other buildings. So this is a building that I constructed for my Spectacle Island build, which I'm still working on, and you can see that in the middle here, I have that piece. It's right here. And as you can see, it kind of gives a slope up and a slope down. And I actually didn't use that exact piece. There's a different piece right here, which as you can see, it's got an end cap right there. My building was so small that I couldn't put in this one, which has no end caps, because then one would have been open to the elements. So I used this one, which has the end cap, and then I placed it right there. You can see how it's got that end cap there. And it gives you a fairly odd looking structure. I'm not terribly pleased with how it turned out. I mean, it works, it's perfectly functional, but it just has a very strange looking roof shape to it. I'm probably gonna keep it, I'm not gonna change it, because it is unique, but that was me trying to experiment with some of the more weird and intricate roof tiles. Now these thin pieces are useful if you want to make really tall structures, and I use them over here on this building. So as you can see, I've got the regular barn walls, and then this other little thin piece right on top of it, because I wanted the inside of this dining hall to have a high vaulted ceiling. I wanted it to be super high. But I also wanted an upstairs section as well. So the walls just go up and up and up. I created this ladder by connecting two of those long ladders. I set it against this far wall over here so that it didn't take up any interior space, and this allowed me to make a second floor upon which I have these nice crossbar roofs so that the roof actually has support, and then I've got a kitchen up here. But I'm going to be going into all of this more when I do my Spectacle Island Efficiency Settlement build. But those are useful if you want to make your barn roofs, if you want to make your barn walls even taller than they come with the game. All right, let's round this off by explaining the few remaining pieces that are a little tricky before we head on out. So these right here are interesting. They are slanted on the bottom and flat on top. You find this in your walls section. Now this is used to build on top of a slanted roof if you want more space and a flat roof, right, like that. Right? So I put one there, and that is right against that slanted roof. And you can see that this really opens up a lot of space on the inside. At the front of this building, I have this nice gabled roof, but then it opens up in here, and I have this vaulted ceiling area, and yet this is still closed off. It's basically accomplishing the same thing as those roof tiles that have the end cap, only this is a much larger end cap, allowing you to have a short roof and then a much higher vaulted roof. And then on top of that, you simply build a flat roof like that. Now, these are really odd, and to be honest, I only use these in my builds when I'm patching holes in structures. For example, in the Echo Lake lumber mill that I did, I used these a lot to patch small holes, even though they themselves come with holes. And these are designed to create a completely blasted away wall look. So you put one on this side and one on that side, and it creates a wall that you can actually walk through. I think this was Bethesda's only way to do that, to create a wall that you can walk through that isn't a door, and make it look all blown out. So if you really want to make a dilapidated looking structure, you can stack those two next to each other, and it gives the effect of a completely broken wall. Lastly, let's talk about this guy right here. It took me a while to figure out what this is used for, and this is it. It's slanted to fit on top of a slanted roof, but then the top of it is also slanted. And what it's used for, I'll put it back there, and I built this little structure to kind of show how I think it would be used. So you put down a wall, you put a normal gabled roof with an end cap on it, and then on top of that, you can place that piece so that you can then have a little cubby hole or attic at the very top of your building. You can, on top of that, place another gabled roof and then place a platform there, and then this gives you a really tight space, like an attic, that you can build if you want. So it gives you, it's kind of like those smaller pieces that you can put down to give yourself higher height, like I did over in that building over there, but they also accommodate a gabled roof. They're great for attics. Let me get up here so that you can get a better look at this. They slant down like that, and then you just attach that there. So again, place down a regular wall, place down a gabled roof, place down this unique arched piece, and then place a gabled roof on top of that, and then on the inside, you can build a little loft. I marketed this as a video that explores every single piece, and I will deliver. There are only a few pieces left. These are all of the prefabs. I've already gone through most of these. These accomplish all the same goal as the other ones that I showed off. I talked about these corner pieces, and they also come with shorter size, so corner pieces for a shorter area. Then I talked about all the floors, all the walls, all the roofs, and I talked about all the stairs. I also talked about all the doors. You've got dilapidated large barn doors and regular large barn doors, and then these small house doors that you have there. And then here in the miscellaneous section, the only thing I didn't really talk about are these posts. And I've used them in many of my videos, but you can stack these on top of each other for a long, they go up really high, and you can use them to support structures. Here is another version. They're just a lot thinner. And then there are a variety of outhouses. Here's an outhouse on a cement platform. Here's an outhouse without the cement platform. It comes with this toilet that you can snap right inside the outhouse, and these wonderful outhouse doors with the traditional outhouse moon right on top. And it also comes in a broken version. And that is it. That is every single new piece in the Far Harbor barn set. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The new barn building materials that come with Far Harbor allow you to make a lot of very unique structures that look a lot better than the simple shacks that you could build with the materials that came with Fallout 4 and the concrete structures that came with Automatron. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something. If you saw something that I did wrong, or if you know of something that I didn't talk about in this video, please let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe for more Fallout 4 and Far Harbor content, and thank you all so much for watching.